Welcome back to Helos and Homies. I'm here with a footballer I grew up watching after 52 minutes of delayed audio errors. We've finally made it work. Welcome, Yianni. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
No, at least I can do, man. It's a pleasure to be here, first of all.
Me too.
Yeah. It's been a minute. But actually, first of all, you were like the first ever supporter of Helos that had a following.
Really?
You and Golek.
That's pretty good to know.
And Shannon Cole, maybe.
Really, Shannon?
But I think
as
he
well?
unfollowed me.
I'll have a word with him.
Or Apia.
Oh, can't trust him.
Yeah, because there was a few of you at that team at the moment, at that team at the time where I messaged a few of you, maybe for Fana as well. For those who don't know, quick introduction. Part of the ACL winning team of Wanderers. Also part of the recent Sydney United team that made the FFA Cup Final. Correct me if I'm wrong, first ever NPL team to make the final, hey?
No, correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In past, there's only been a few in the semi-final, hey?
Yeah, I think there's only been it's always been sort of semi-finals that NPL teams get knocked out. But yeah, managed to get to the end this year.
Yeah, crazy, eh? So I've got a lot of questions for you, actually. A lot of questions. So, Yianni, growing up, transfer market said you're at AIS?
Transfer market. Yeah. So growing up, sort of went through the Australian pathway. Played at my fair share of clubs through the youth. So Marconi's, Blacktowns, my local club, Wenny Waratahs, and then went into New South Wales Institute of Sport, and then around 14, 15 went into the Australian Institute of Sport. Then from there, was fortunate enough to represent the country at the Under-17s World Cup. So we had our qualifiers in Uzbekistan. We had our World Cup in Mexico. And then from there, sort of came back to Blacktown City, and went into the Wanderers from there.
Yeah, fuck. Who was in those junior teams?
All right, boys that have sort of gone on to something, or
who was the best at the time?
Can I say me?
Yeah, go for it.
I used to score a lot of goals when I was younger. I used to be number 10. And I was probably a more confident player than I am now. I mean, I'd say I'm one of them for my age group growing up, but there's other boys that have sort of grown up and gone on to bigger and better things. So you've got like players like Paul Izzo, you got Miloš Dejanek, you got Connor Chapman, Jake McGing's also my age. That's at MacArthur at the moment. But
Miloš be the only one who went on to play Champions League?
For my age group, yeah, definitely for my age group, yeah.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Miloš played at Red Star, who have arguably the greatest home crowd in the world, and they have the war bunker as the tunnel, is it not? The tunnel at the stadium was like used during the war.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a video of when he played Liverpool, the Liverpool players walking through it.
Oh right.
And they were like shitting themselves. And Miloš is in the video, like just walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Izzo went on to have a cracker career as well, didn't he?
Yeah, it definitely did. Top bloke, Izzo. We roomed in the same sort of pod in the AIS, and he was always a good laugh.
Yeah. And then so you went from Blacktown. No, who'd you go to from Wanderers? Blacktown, hey?
After Wanderers?
No,
or before?
Wanderers.
So I was AIS,
Yeah.
Blacktown City under-20s.
Yeah.
Then I went into... I think I sort of followed the same pathway that I did with Wanderers, and my first game for Blacktown's first team was in a semi-final.
Yeah, wow.
It was a big match, and I think that was my debut, and then after that I signed a youth team contract with Wanderers.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's sick. And then, so when you get to Wanderers, there's a Japanese man there at the time, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goes by the name of Shinji Ono.
That's it.
Arguably the greatest ever player whilst playing in the A-League, I reckon. Like, Del Piero, I think, takes the cake for, like, the best player to come and play in our country. But I think, like, at that time in the league, I think Shinji was the best this country's ever seen in the A-League.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of a marquee signing, he epitomizes that, and probably one of the most humble people I've met.
Yeah.
I mean, for the caliber that he had and the player that he was, he didn't, strut around like a douche or anything like that. He was probably one of the nicest players I've ever met.
Yeah, because he played top division in Holland and Germany, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think
Crazy.
it was Ajax, maybe.
That's crazy.
For PSV, one of the two.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and then so that team goes on to, in a normal footballing world, not an Australian footballing world, win the premiership, and then we get to the finals. Who'd we stumble at? Mariners, maybe.
The first year was Mariners.
Yeah, Matt Simon.
Did he score?
I think Matty Simon scored.
Yeah, and then the third year was Brisbane. I think that was the third year. Brisbane Roar.
Yeah.
We lost the final in.
That was hard.
I remember I actually cried after that game. Like, there's only, I think, 2 times I've cried in football, and it was when I lost like an under-12s grand final at Marconi, and then that time when we lost against Brisbane. And I wasn't in the squad, unfortunately, but we got to fly up in the and sit in the stands. But it was just, there was so much confidence and belief that we would we'd be like, we've already experienced a loss in a final. Yeah. There's no way we can experience it again. Yeah. But it happened.
Yeah. And then best apparition, man. Did he score the winner?
I don't know. I just remember Spiro scored an equaliser.
No. The fish. Enrique.
Oh, slippery fish.
Yeah, the slippery guy. He was a good footballer.
He was not bad. He was good.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah,
they had a great trio of marquee signings: Berisha, Broish, and Enrique.
Yeah, it's how it should be done. Hey?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not so much anymore, as we've talked about. We'll get into a bit of football later, and then so from there you go and you play. We play the ACL. Yep. Now, so I remember when we got in there, I was watching it. Even in the round of like the group stage, I was thinking like, fuck, we're in for it. Like, if you looked at the caliber of teams we had, and for anyone who knows an idea of football, like the Japanese have well-structured systems, the Koreans have well-structured systems, and at the time, this is when like your Oscars and your Hulks started to hit China.
In China.
Like Oscar was 25, just won a Premier League.
Yep.
And he was in China. I think we didn't verse him, did we? We versed Ricardo Goulart and Hulk, I think.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Shanghai, maybe.
Yeah.
So we got through the group stage, which was sick. Yeah. I was pretty happy as a fan with that. How was that feeling for you?
Yeah, no, it was great that we got through it. I think that was probably around, we were still in the season at that stage.
Yeah.
Well, we would have been in season. And I actually can't remember too much of it, to be honest. I only remember the final. But I guess we just treated the group stages and those international flights as just normal. Like, it became the norm. Oh, we're going to China this week. Oh, we're going to Japan. Oh, here's Korea. Like, it was just part of the day-to-day of being a footballer at that stage, where you just knew you would be flying out in a couple of days and flying back.
How was that, going through all that?
For someone who hates flying, it was
something.
Yeah, it was something. I had my fair share of flights with the team. I think Japan, off the top of my head, when we played Sanfrecce Hiroshima. I think that might have been a round of 16 game, possibly. Yeah,
or it was either them or Gamba or Osaka comes to my mind for some reason.
Yeah, we travel. I remember traveling to that distinctively, and that's because we actually got to go to like the Hiroshima side, the bomb side, and that. So, but yeah, it was all done well. We had great support staff. Yeah. We had boys that were seasoned at it. They knew what to do, and they would pass down their advice and that. So we were never sort of out of shape. It was never disorganized. We knew where we'd be, at what time we'd be having lunch, dinner, breakfast, going for a walk, doing X, Y, Z kind of thing. Yeah.
How was, just off topic, how was Shinji treated in Japan? Was he, like, a lot of fans come up to him, or they didn't know at the time he was in the country?
I think at the airport there were a couple of fans, but like almost, the bowing and the mad respect for him that they have. They're like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, can I take a photo? Can I have a signature?" It was like almost a god there at that time. So, there was a lot of respect, but the way they go about their business and ask for these photos and signatures, and just to say hello. Some people didn't even want to be in front of him and say hello. They were just happy looking at a distance because they're just that shy and humble about it. So,
he's a god around here. I wish he's still kicking.
Yeah, he's still kicking.
I think he's one of the oldest players in the world. That's not a goalkeeper.
Oh, really?
I think he Japan. What's his name?
42 or something ish.
Yeah, there's one guy that stands out. His name's King Kazu. He's in Japan as well.
Okay, yeah.
He's like 50.
He's 50 or something,
53
right?
53 or something like that. But then after that, like Shinji's one of the only ones in like a top 50 league.
Oh, mate, he could probably do it.
He's a different grade.
Yeah, he's a bit
on my birthday against Melbourne Victory, he hit that volley where he turns. And he gets the ball on like the edge of the box, flicks it over his head, and then hits on his right into the bottom corner.
Yeah, bottom right corner?
Yeah. Well, what a player. Yeah, how was watching Moy at that time?
Another ridiculously good player. Technical ability, knowledge of the game. He was very similar to Shinji, the way he read the game and would be like an extra step ahead of the rest of the squad. Yeah. And it was really good to see that because he was playing my position as well, growing up and seeing that. Because he also went to the same high school. But yeah, just talent on a different level. Yeah. And the mindset to follow too.
Do you think the Scottish experience helped? So instead of him going straight into the A-League where he went, was he at Hibs or something?
A Hibernian or something?
Yeah, and he like had a crack, or St Mirren maybe.
Yeah.
And then he didn't make it, or Kilmarnock, I think it is.
I thought it was St Mirren.
That's where Kieran is now, Bacchus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then he came back, and he signed for us, relatively unknown. Now, for who we're talking about is Aaron Moy. A lot of football fans will know him, but he'll go down as one of the most underrated Australians to ever play the game. He went over to Huddersfield, so he left us, he went to Melbourne. Then he went over to Huddersfield. Championship, he was one of the best players in the Championship, second division in England. Went to the Prem, scored a winner at Old Trafford for Huddersfield, which is stupid to even say out loud.
Think about that, hey?
Yeah, and then he went to Brighton, and then as a good man, he went to China, got his paycheck, and then he went
as a smart man.
Yeah, as a smart man. set him and everyone around him up. And now he's at Celtic with Ange in the Champions League. Yeah. I think that's one of the coolest careers.
Yeah, it is. And probably, I'm not sure if you know, but he actually went through like a Bolton Wanderers pathway. Probably maybe around 14, 15. He was there for a couple of years. And when I was young, I went there for a trial with another boy at school. And he was there at that time, and like he had that experience of living by himself, or growing up in that football environment where they live and breathe it. So
because Bolton would have been in the Prem,
they were in the Prem. Yeah, there was the that curly head guy, Sam Allardyce was the coach. Yeah, Anelka was there at that stage.
Baller.
Like they had a quality team back then.
Who was their goalkeeper? Was a servant to the game. Jussi Jaskalainen.
That's the one.
He was a servant to the game. And they had there was them and Wigan. Because I used to collect match attacks.
Same. That's how I can think of the players now. It's like literally, I'm thinking, how did I sort these in my folder at home?
They had not Kevin Nolan. No, it was Kevin Nolan.
At Bolton.
Yeah. Because it was Kevin Nolan and Mark Noble were like the English. Yeah, it's crazy, that Bolton team. Yeah. But, you play with Moy, you play with Ono, and we'll backtrack a tiny bit. So you got to the round of 16, and at what point, or was it the whole time you thought, or the squad thought, we could win this? Did anyone say it out loud when entering the round of 32 at least?
I can't remember, to be honest with you, man. Yeah. I just know that Popovic was probably one of the most confident people I've ever met. Yeah. He would just be able to instill belief when belief wasn't an option. Like if you knew you were down, he could be the only one that would be able to bring you up out of that. So even if and I guess to answer your question, the mentality that we developed at Wanderers was that a loss or a draw was never an answer. It was never an option. Yeah. So it was just winning is everything. If you don't win, that's it. Like, there's nothing else. Yeah. So to say that, were we thinking about winning the final and progressing after the round of 16 and that sort of things, I don't think we ever thought that we were not going to. Yeah. I just think that we always took each game as it was. We never
looked too far.
Yeah, we never looked at the next game, because once you start doing that, then you think, and then doubt comes into that. Yeah. And one of the things was one of the things you always said during the game was like play the moment. Yeah. Play what's happening right now. Don't worry what minute it is. If you're up, if you're down, just play that moment, and you always kind of just stay focused and concentrated on what was going on.
Yeah, that comes through in that first game that springs to mind with that. It's the Brisbane game.
Yeah.
Where we were 3-0 down, maybe?
Oh, and we came back to...
Romeo Castellan had a cracker.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that game was like... I remember being there. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he... And then, so we go to round of 8, and I swear it was... For the life of me, it had to be a Chinese team, maybe.
Wasn't there... Like, there was Guangzhou at some stage where the Vitor Saba incidents happened with Marcello Lippi.
What was Vitor like?
He was a good bloke.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He still comments on all their pages and shit.
Yeah. Nice bloke as well. Extremely talented. I remember his first session where they made him fly in from, I think it was Brazil, and they made him train the first day. Oh, he was in Italy. Yeah,
he was playing for Pisa, maybe?
Yeah, right.
He was all right in the Serie B.
Yeah.
But when we signed him, like respectfully, it was nothing like Shinji.
No.
But he was good in the Serie B, and I know one team in the Serie A wanted him, and then we got him, and he seemed like a good bloke.
Yeah, top bloke. Yeah, like really nice, fun to talk to.
Yeah, I remember
fun
that.
off the pitch kind of thing.
What was that incident?
Oh, that was when I think there was like a diving incident. And that's when they...
Because I remember a fight with the Chinese team.
That's right, yeah. That was the home leg where I think he tried to milk a yellow card for the other team or just milk some time, and then Marcello Lippi was coming at him, and then their players like sort of ran in and wanted to hit him. And I think that's where he kind of kicked on to be like, a wonder is great. Like, because... You know, he was a sick cunt. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Like he was a sick cunt in the moment. So, yeah.
I remember that now because I remember watching it being like, oh, fuck, like this is actually like pretty full on now.
Yeah.
But I remember one Wanderers player came in and they all I think it was Apia. Or was that after the game? There was one moment where like Apia during that whole thing, it was either after the final or in that fight where like they all shit themselves because he got proper angry.
Yeah.
He just started like busting through people, and once he got to the front, they're like, "Oh fuck!" I think it was actually, I think who shit himself to him was Nasir Al Shamrami.
Is that the spitter?
Yeah,
I only know him as the spitter.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
So we beat Guangzhou, and Guangzau at the time had a decent team.
Yeah.
Ricardo Goulart was someone I remember watching, going like, "Oh fuck, you're a proper."
Yeah.
You're a European footballer, basically. Yep. Like that's your level, and then. We go past them, and I can't for the life of me remember who was a semi-finalist.
I feel like it was a Japanese team as well.
Same here. Maybe it was Gamba Osaka.
Potentially. I just remember there was also an incident in the away leg in China. So, and I'm not too sure if anyone really knows about it, but I think the Chinese fans turned up to the hotel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they were sort of like making a ruckus and that.
Yeah.
And then on the way to the game, we took 2 buses.
Yeah.
And one bus had the players, one bus didn't have anyone. It was a spare bus in case they tried to do some dodgy shit. And
bit of intellect in that.
Yeah, funnily enough, the bus driver crashes into something.
Yeah.
So then the boys jump into the other bus and then go to the game. So like, I mean, if they didn't have that second bus, who knows what would have happened? Yeah. So it was forward thinking from the club, and they did well on that.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah.
And then we get to the final. I was sitting in the first leg. I was sitting behind Mike Trajewski Junior. He ended up playing a few games, and Steve Cousy.
Oh, Cousy, yeah.
I think I was sitting behind them in the stands. Oh, I was sitting behind a few.
You probably were behind me too. I would have been there.
Yeah.
I wasn't on the field. Like I wasn't on the pitch at. I didn't make the 17.
And I remember just watching. You're a good friend of yours now, Anthony Golek. That was they were a good team.
Yeah.
Like, they were so well organised.
Yeah.
Like, they were a proper... I always give credit to Iranian and Saudi Arabian teams. They are, like, actually well-organised units.
Yep.
They just lack, like, a flair, I'd say.
Yep.
And that's where they get the internationals from. But if the international doesn't suit, they're fucked for that season.
Oh, mate, they get rid of them quicker than anything over there.
And I remember watching it thinking, like, oh, fuck, these guys are, like, actually well-organised. In comes an early cross from your good friend Golek.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never seen a ball like that from him.
I don't think you could ask him to do that again.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him that to his face. That's all right.
'Cause he was a centre back. I always
He was
saw
playing
him.
left back, I think, in
Yeah,
that position.
I always saw him as a centre back.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it going like this ball just come in, you're going, oh fuck, like this is gonna drop like
Yeah.
right on the 6-yard box.
Yep.
Tommy Uric.
Yep.
Just sticks his foot out, go 1-0 up. Pure elation.
Yeah.
Like we were just so happy to. I remember everyone was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Just so I was ecstatic. Just even if we lost, like Western Sydney, fucking hell. Like,
Yeah.
well, how was this meant to
How
happen?
have we put ourselves on an international scale?
Yeah.
Like,
And I remember it was a big moment for like people, the people that formed the NSL and those clubs that watching Western Sydney be represented and make it like big time.
yeah.
And then for the oldies, and then we move forward and we win that game. We go over there, and I'll say this: I remember at that game, a lot of people had like bad impressions, so to speak, from the way that Al Hilal players acted.
Mm.
But I remember like swapping scars with fans and stuff. They were the
Yeah.
lovely. Out of all the
really?
fans we had, they were the best by far.
Yeah, right.
Because there wasn't many of them.
Yeah.
So they were smart to realise. I think when they got there, they were like, oh fuck, these aren't the Aussies they thought they were dealing with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like like this is ethnics
Yeah.
that are going nuts with flares and shit.
Yeah.
And then but I remember the Chinese fans and stuff. They were really hard to deal with. Like they
yeah.
were rude and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
But the Al Hilal fans were lovely. We go over there. So we finished the first leg, and then we obviously win the ACL, and like a few of your mates are in the team and whatnot, all that type of stuff. What was that like as a footballer, just seeing like a team win that when we'd never won it? What was it like for you, seeing like a few of your friends win it as well? What was that?
Yeah. Look, it was a bittersweet moment. I don't know if you want to do it again,
it's up
but
to you.
yeah, like I mean, it was amazing that we had won,
Yeah.
and the team was there, but it was also that bitterness that I wasn't there celebrating with them. So, but in hindsight of that, when the trip back and the airport environment when you landed, I don't know if you were there.
No, I didn't get to go. I was 14.
Oh yeah.
15.
I was. Yeah, like I obviously went to that, and just that sort of audience that we had there was incredible. I remember there was their rival club, they had yellow.
Yeah.
I can't remember their name.
For Al Riyadh.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, they got like it's almost like a tombstone badge where it's like a thick bottom and then it goes up like that.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a shape of a tombstone.
They were there. They were at the airport, and they're like, "Can we take They were
they
ethnic,
hate each other. Yeah,
and they're like, "Man, you guys are the best!" Like in broken English.
Yeah.
Like, can we take a photo? Can we take a photo? And they're like, "Oh no, we want to take a photo with a medal." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then you'll see there's a photo on my Twitter, and it's me with these two supporters. And just me, like, literally with the strongest fist ever trying to hold on to this medal to make sure they're not, like, going to come and take it off me. I'm like, guys, don't take this off me. So, it was incredible. Yeah.
You still got that medal?
I do.
Yeah.
It's at home.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Do you look at it, like, often?
I do not.
No.
It's sort of packed away with my other Wanderers stuff.
Yeah.
So jerseys, I won like a youth player of the year my first year, so there was that. I think we had like Wanderers caps at that time.
Yeah, the inaugural.
But the like, you know how the baggy greens are with your get a number. That I've got one of them as well.
Sick.
And just all my jerseys and even my infamous no name jersey that I debuted in. For the Newcastle game, they couldn't print my name in time, so I had no name when I started against the Jets in the minor premiership game.
Yes, that's fucking bad. Yeah, that's sick.
That was peak A-League moment then because we were struggling with jerseys because we just sold out. Yeah, straight away. Every time restock came in, we sold out.
I remember being a fan. Yeah,
it was impossible to get a jersey.
Yeah,
even as players.
Yeah,
so.
That's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So then Wanderers finishes up, and it's up to you if you want to answer this, but like, what was it like going from essentially A-League champions of Asia, back into the NPL? Like, how was that adjustment?
Yeah, it was difficult coming out of a professional environment and going into a semi-professional. It actually took me a couple of years to realize, and this is no disrespect to the NPL, but that boys can enjoy turning up and doing it kind of leisurely.
Yeah.
And I've only discovered that now that it can be fun. It can be enjoyable. It can be relaxing.
Yeah.
Whereas in a professional environment, obviously it's like it's your job.
Yeah.
So you're stressing. Am I going to get selected? Am I going to get renewed at the end of the year?
Yeah.
You those thoughts kind of pass. Oh, I had a bad session. I had a bad game. That's your everyday. But when you play NPL, that's not your everyday. Your everyday is work. Your 9 to 5. And that's probably where Jesus. Where it took me a while to adapt to that, because I would be stressed out thinking I should be doing more. This isn't enough. Even though it was semi-professional, this isn't enough coming from a professional environment. Like I'm demanding more from players. I'm demanding more from myself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the frustrations grew from.
Yeah.
And then until I joined Sydney United, and maybe a year or two after that, did I start to realise, what, I can make mistakes. I can. There is another light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. It's not just football. There is
other ways.
There is life. Yeah. Like there is your partner at home. There is your house. There's your family. Yeah. Kind of thing. It wasn't always just for me growing up. It was always just about me and the game. Yeah. And the training sessions. So
Olin Tekkers spoke about it. Olin Tekkers?
Yeah.
I was listening to his podcast today, and he was just saying, like, it's interesting going from, like, a professional environment, and then you go back to semi-pro, and you realise people play football as an escapism. Yeah. Whereas footballers have an escapism from football. Yeah. And then once you get back there, you're like, oh, like, there's actually, like, way more to life than just training, go home, go back training.
That's right.
And then repeat, wait for game day on the weekend. Yep. Go out after, repeat. Yep. Just going into the detail of that. So you go from Blacktown and you go to the Cypriot second division.
So I went to Blacktown City halfway through the season, and then where'd I go after that? We finished the season there, Blacktown City. Yeah. And then I actually signed for the Crosstown Rivals.
Spartans.
Actually, I had a brief trial period with Sydney FC during that stage.
You're a fucking snake.
I know. Yeah, I'm a snake. That's right. And it didn't work out, unfortunately. I think, and that kind of affected what happened at Blacktown. That I was trialing with him at that stage. I kind of got dropped from Blacktown. Yeah. And then it was sort of time to leave at the end of the season, and I joined Blacktown Spartans. And then at Blacktown Spartans, I played probably 3/4 of the season. We weren't doing that great.
Who was at Spartans at the time?
We actually signed Jason Trefura about halfway through the year. Yeah, so
great footballer.
Yeah, well, him and his brothers. I still tell Jason that he should still be playing, but that's his prerogative.
Him and Glenn.
They're ridiculous. Yeah. They're freaks.
Glenn came on in the final, did he not?
Yeah.
Changed the game.
Yeah, that's just him to a T. We rely on that every year.
Are they 4 Aussie boys?
Yeah, they're
crazy.
They're, I think, born and bred like Park Lee area.
Yeah, wow.
Bella Vista kind of.
They get the game so well.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
they're like a Shinjiona where they see things a step or two ahead. Yeah. And they're just so composed on the ball that it doesn't matter. You can pay them the ball when there's 3 or 4 players around them. Kind of thing. So, yeah.
You go from Blacktown, trial at Sydney.
Yep.
So you do the Blacktown switch.
Yep.
Are both still around now?
Blacktown Spartans is like NPL 2 or 3.
Yeah, one of them went to shit, eh?
Blacktown City's. They obviously won the league last year.
Year. So it was Spartans.
Spartans, went to shit after I left.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know the correlations. Yeah. Because I remember Mountie, because I went and watched Mountie a few years ago when my mate Henry and Soli Vayaka were there. Yeah. And they were in the centre back together. And I remember Mountie climbing, and one of the Blacktown was falling at the same time, and like a lot of people in the stands were talking about it. Yeah. And then so you go to second division of Cypriot. Yep. League. What was it like moving across the world?
The best thing ever.
Really?
I was so skeptical at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I couldn't think of anything better to do with my life at that stage. And I still think if that happened now, I would still take the opportunity.
Yeah.
It could be because of the Cyprus lifestyle, or it could be just the way football was. But the way the Cypriot culture is and the lifestyle there is what I don't know, is what everyone should like want to achieve. They don't care about anything. Like you can wake up whatever time you want, go to work whatever time you want, come home whenever you want, have a nap,
sick.
Go have dinner, have another nap, go up, go out, you know. And then Wednesday you'd have it was the half weekend, so probably 60% of your shops weren't open. It was like it was literally a half weekend, they called it.
Fuck.
Over there. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Like the food's great, fresh food, lifestyle's unreal. The team was great. I had a couple of boys in that team that they took me in like a brother. They would bring me over to their house all the time. And
so was because like for Greek and Cypriot teams, I've always found, and a few other, like even Croatian teams, I've always found they're either like really most of the squad is of the home nation, or they can be a team compiled of players all around the world. Yeah. What was your team like? Was it mostly Cypriot boys?
Yeah, I think Division 2 there's like a
quota.
Yeah, there's like a law, I guess. Yeah. That they sort of have to have a certain amount of Cypriots in the squad. And I think it was me and maybe 2 others or 3 others that were foreigners. But yeah, like talk about, I guess, fortune. This guy contacted me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn. He's like, "Hey mate, want to come over to Cyprus for a trial, like, or to sign on?" And I'm like, got there, and they're like, "Oh, it's a trial." I'm like, "Hold on, I thought it was I was signing." Kind of thing. And like these are the stories that you don't hear. In media, because they're big fuckarounds. And I'll get onto my Philippines experience after that, but
that's actually well covered on Wikipedia. Your Wikipedia. I did I was looking at it. It was like, you got to this club and they fucked him around, yada yada yada. So Cyprus, you get there, you trial.
Yeah, trial. I flew over with my dad because obviously I'm an only child, and I think he was a bit skeptical of the whole. Well, who's this bloke on LinkedIn? Who's contacting you?
How old were you at the time?
I'm going to say 2017. I would have been 23.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, not young, not old, but I think probably because I'm an only child.
Yeah.
The fears kind of kicked in, but I mean, growing up, I was always in a team environment, traveling to the UK, to Asia for Champions Leagues, but always in a team environment, never by myself. And I think I trialed for like a week and then signed the contract, and I think I got my first pay 4 months later.
Fuck.
Because that's just how it was there. Like, they made us sign paperwork every month to say we've paid you, even though they haven't paid you. Because it was a FIFA like regulation because of the corruption there and that.
So that 4 months, was it actually 4 months worth of paying?
No, it was your first month on the 4th month.
Oh, fuck.
So, yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
So 3 months out of your own money.
Basically, I was, a lot of my own money was dipped in. And the salary that I was on there, I think it was 500 euros, 600 euros for the month.
750 odd maybe.
Yeah, 800 Australian a month.
I'll tell you what, bro. If someone came to me and said you need to go to Cyprus and play for 800, a month.
Yeah, a month. Bro.
Oh fuck!
I
thought you were gonna say a week. 800
a week.
I'm on the first plane.
Yeah, a month.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So, but you can live comfortably with that money. Like, that's not a problem.
So cheap there, eh?
Mate, it's like €4 for a gyros.
Oh,
like
good.
€1 for a frappe. I can live off that.
Yeah.
I don't need to have anything else. What do I need in life? That's enough. So that's
and then you went from Cyprus into the Philippines, eh?
Yeah. So when it was around Christmas time, and I got contacted by an Australian agent who was living in Asia, and he said, "Oh, we've got a contract lined up for you in Thailand or Indonesia, one of the two."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, is it certain?" Well, Siri's trying to talk to me. He's like, "Yep, all good. It's certain. Just getting the contract now. Blah blah blah." So I'm like, "Okay," because I'm gonna go speak to the president now. I'm gonna terminate my contract. whatever. I told him I'm homesick. I need to go home.
Yeah.
I want to terminate. Blah blah blah. Got my final payout from Cyprus. Booked my ticket, and then I think we're a day out from flying, and he's like, "Oh, the deal's fallen through." I'm like, "What do you mean, the deal's fallen through?" I'm like, "I've just terminated my contract, mate. Like, what the fuck?" He's like, "Don't worry, just come back to Sydney. I'll find you. Like, I'll 100% find you something else." All right, sure, no worries. So came back to Sydney. I think I don't know what I did. I think I probably just did my own training kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, we've got you a deal in the Philippines with Global FC." And at that time, they were
decent sized club, eh?
Yeah, back then, I think they folded now, and there'll probably be reasons.
But I remember them being in and around.
Yeah,
like
they were
mentioned.
They were in the Champions League playoff kind of things. So at that time, they got drawn to play against Brisbane Roar.
That's most probably where the name rings
and
a bell.
and I went over there because they said we need to sign you for the Asian Champions League run.
Yeah.
Signed there, and every single foreigner, there was a Pommy who played for Swansea there, Kemi Augustine.
Yeah,
Freak of a player. He was like a bit overweight though, but absolute freak, like technically ridiculous. And he was there. I think a Trinidad and Tobago striker was there, and this Brazilian centre back.
Not Kenwyn Jones, the Stoke City striker.
Nah.
Or Ricardo Fuller.
No, it wasn't a big name. It wasn't a big name.
Kenwyn Jones, man. What a striker.
It was maybe his name was Kevin something. I can't remember now. But they were all good blokes as well. They brought us in to play or to sign us for that Brisbane Roar game, that one game.
Yeah.
The club couldn't even sign us in time because they didn't do the paperwork.
Fuck.
So we literally went there, and I remember landing. I'm sharing accommodation when I agreed on my own accommodation in my own room because I don't really enjoy living with people.
Yeah.
And after the first session of playing just Sheva, just Sheva, they're like, "No, we don't want him." I'm like, I just got off a flight.
Yeah.
Played 30 minutes of Sheva. I think I defended once in there. I didn't lose the ball, and you're deciding that you don't even want me. I'm like, red flags.
Yeah.
Like, this is red flags. So then we're in this hotel, and then it was time to move out of that hotel. They put us in these slums. When I talk about slums, I talk about I don't even know what to compare it in Australia. There's nothing in Australia like that.
Yeah, wow.
It's like you may as well kind of be homeless. There was no washing machine, no microwave, oven,
fucking
dishwasher. Hell. You were lucky if the water, you never normally have the water over there.
Yeah.
We didn't have Wi-Fi, which is a must for a foreigner, because how else are you going to keep in touch with your family kind of thing. And I was trying to get my pay for that month or my sign-on, I think it was. Because they said, "Oh, you know what, we'll pay you out. We don't want you to go home," kind of thing. That dragged on for another week, and I was training with the squad, struggling for food, struggling for water. So your closest walk was to the shared sort of restaurant for that slum area, and then the next restaurant after that with proper food was an hour walk. So you would walk in hour to try and find food, something to eat that's going to be semi-healthy or good for you. And
so wait, was the ex-Swansea player doing this as well?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that would have shocked him.
He had a massive pool. His agent was... And this is where the other problem is. I was going back to my agent, "Hey, mate, it's not good here. I'm in trouble. You need to get me out as soon as possible. Look, I can't put my head on the chopping board," kind of thing. That's the kind of messages I was getting from him. I'm like...
Selfish pricks,
you fucked me, mate. You've actually fucked me. So... I ended up getting really, really sick. Probably the worst flu I've ever had in my life, and I was hospitalized. I actually had to go to hospital. I had travel insurance, so it kind of covered it and that. Yeah. But I spent a day or two in hospital because I couldn't keep anything inside me. Yeah, I would either throw it out, or I'd piss it out of my ass, kind of thing. Yeah, and it wasn't even brown. It wasn't even diarrhea color. It was lime green. Yeah. It was filth. It was
So
absolute.
like barley belly on roids.
I've never had it, but probably something like that.
Barley
man.
belly is what you get when they tell you not to drink from the tap.
Yeah.
But if
yeah.
you drink from the tap, obviously the water source, unfortunately, over there isn't as clean.
Yeah.
So it just fucks their whole stomach.
Mate, I remember sitting on the toilet and like toilet was here, shower was there, and just basically doing that.
Yeah.
And just like shitting and throwing up at
Yeah.
the same time. Like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here. So I ended up.
And you're 24 at this time?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. And I ended up getting in touch with the PFA, which is the Players Football Association. And I used my own money to
Come back.
book in an apartment to stay there because I was adamant I'm not leaving until I get my money.
Yeah.
Because they owed me, I think it was like $5,000 US. It wasn't anything big, but
It's still nice.
the least they can do is
nice little
since
kitty.
I almost died basically.
Yeah.
And I stayed in that for a couple of days and a couple of days more, and then the PFA lawyer said, "Look, book yourself a ticket home.
Yeah.
We'll sort it out from here." And then I booked myself home, and then probably they took it to FIFA.
Yeah.
FIFA got involved. As soon as FIFA got involved, I got my money straight away, basically.
Yeah. Fuck.
So that was
sad. It has to get to that level. Governing.
It really is. Yeah. But it happens quite common in football, man. And these are the stories that people don't hear.
Yeah.
People think, oh, he's had a bad game on the weekend, like he sucks, tear up his contract, but you actually don't know what's happened outside of the pitch or what's happened in his personal life.
You know, it's a fucking big one. I've noticed is like contract extensions, and if they hit a quota, they don't get. They're owed an extension, but they don't play them enough to get a quota.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Griezmann saga at the moment.
Yeah, that is an extent. I reckon he's good off the fucking bench, Griezmann. He's different gravy altogether. But off the bench, he kills it.
Yeah.
But I noticed with Fornaroli on the weekend, they reckon he needs 15 goals in 2 seasons to extend third year, and they're not playing him in his second year. He's on 8 or 9 goals now.
Is that City? Is he back?
Perth.
Oh, is he still in Perth?
Yeah.
I can't comment on that because I know Bruno.
Yeah.
And I know a bit about his contract from when he was at
I'll blurt
Perth.
out the name and club after and post
No,
editing.
that's all right. I'm okay to say that I don't know anything about it. But yeah, that is definitely a thing that happens in football, like, and even financial, like if you score a certain amount of goals, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose money.
Yeah.
They may not be in a position. They thought maybe at the start of the year that they were.
Yeah.
But now, towards the end of the season...
Shit season.
Yeah, they may not be.
Especially with Perth with that Sturridge money. All right, so FIFA get involved. You get your money.
Yep.
Beautiful. Right.
Yep.
You come back straight to Sydney. We'll say Sydney United for the political people, but to a man of footballing purity, Sydney, Croatia.
Yeah.
Have you been there for a minute now?
So... I didn't sign straight away. I was in a bit of a loophole because I came back outside the transfer window for the NPL.
Yeah, it's a weird one, eh?
It really is. And I came back probably around March, and I missed the window, and I almost signed for Rydalme, which is an NPL 2 team at that stage with Tony Basha. And
did Basha have Rydalme?
Yeah, at that stage. Yeah.
He's a don.
He's a good bloke.
Yeah,
I worked with his academy a couple of times as well.
Yeah,
so coaching.
I just see him like with ex-players, like just coaching kids and shit.
Yeah,
I just think like fuck, we need more of blokes like that, just trying to get shit happening.
Yeah,
because we just don't have enough. It's too political. But so you almost signed with Rydalme, and then because the next window would open up in July, wouldn't it?
July, yeah. So I had to keep fit until then. So I was training with Rydalme. And then Vitas, the goalkeeper coach at Rydalme, who was also the goalkeeper coach at Sydney United, said, well, why don't you come like with United? Yeah. Come train and stuff. So I ended up turning up, training. There was a couple of boys that I used to play with there, from Blacktown and just throughout like youth and stuff like that. And it was like almost the last week of the window, I think, and Rudin sort of sat me down because Rudes was the coach. Mark Rudin was the coach at that stage. Yeah. And he said, look, I want to sign you, but the point system's not allowing me, so I need a couple of players to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, like, if I don't sign here, where am I going to go?
Yeah, what am I going to do? Yeah.
And luckily enough for me, I think 2 boys left and freed up a spot for me, and I signed straight away and joined the squad. And I think my first game was Hakoa, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck man. I think someone told me on the weekend that I'm coming up to my 7th year maybe, or my 6th year, and
wow,
in football that's a long time because loyalty doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. You Croatian?
Am I Croatian? No, I'm Greek.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
is your family involved in football? Like, did they care about that?
No.
Sign for a Croatian club?
No, it's pretty common that Greeks don't sign for Sydney Olympic. And a lot of Greeks will be able to back me up on that.
Yeah, right. I think I know why.
Yeah,
I think I know why. I think my dad's told me.
Yeah. So, like there was as long as I was happy, I guess my parents didn't really mind where I went.
Yeah.
And I actually played my junior football with Sydney United too. I had 1 year under 10s, won Champions of Champions. Yeah. So sick. Yeah. I've been there since then.
And then I'd say a few weeks ago, you actually had a full. So I'd say for you, well, we'll quickly cover it. You went to Perth.
Yeah.
And you were there you were brought in on an injury replacement, maybe?
Injury replacement for the rest of the COVID season. So
that would have been a bit. How you going?
Yeah.
So you finish up at Perth, and then you come back. Wait, you played with Castro there, did you?
No. So Castro didn't fly with the squad, and I think there's a bit of
how you going with that
as well.
Yeah. Because I thought he was one of the most talented marquees we've had.
Yeah.
Like him just on the ball, he was just saw things. You know what I mean? Like just a lot of we don't produce in this country as much.
Yeah, that's
but he just saw it, like just read the game as it went. He wasn't too structured. He wasn't like. Just refreshing to watch, I reckon. Yeah. And I think it was his right foot when he cut in was just something
cut
else.
in, finesse far post.
Yeah. Who was at Perth then?
Bruno was there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Liam Reddy. Jacob Trapp was there. Jake Bruma, D'Agostino.
Bruma's a baller.
Yeah, he's
fucking
a
good
freak,
footballer.
man.
I think they should take him to the World Cup.
I think so too. Why not?
Yeah. He's one of the best players in the A-League.
Yeah.
If Arnie's about his word, I don't know if he is, but I think he should take. I think he should take Jake, because I watch when you watch Victory, man. He just the way he just creates shit.
Yeah.
Gets shit happening in his own half, and
I think he had a youth career at Liverpool as well.
Yeah. He was when Brad Smith was there.
Yeah, right.
And I remember Brad Smith got that game, and the whole country went mad.
Yeah, and cap him.
Yeah.
And then that was it after that.
Yeah, look at the English fullbacks now. The rush to cap him was crazy. And then you had your full circle moment a few weeks back, obviously shrouded in controversy. I've already said on this podcast a few of the things the Croatian fans were accused of being at the game. Obviously, one of them was like you can't speak on, because that was obviously photographed. But there was another one, the Welcome to Country, where being at the game, I had no fucking clue it was on.
Yeah.
And I reckon Combank had to take responsibility for that. But it was shrouded in controversy, as it always been with football, because the ethnics play it. Same with rugby league. Different nationalities play it to the white boy. And I think, by the way, I addressed this on multiple podcasts.
Yeah,
so don't think I'm getting too political.
No, that's right. I've got a really strong political opinion about a lot of things, but
I fucking hate Murdoch media, so I'll have a crack at it. And,
you're gonna get silenced soon. Then.
Try me. And then at the game, but like it was good to see that. I've never seen it, but my dad, Mazio, played for Marconi.
Yeah.
And Mazio was part of like that generation of NSL when NSL was popping.
Yep.
And my dad obviously got to see it from the sidelines and whatnot, but I never got to see that.
Yeah.
So I thought like that was sick. That was like what it was to see an ethnic club like truly strive and prosper.
Yeah.
How was it like having a crack there at the first game, like in that final?
It was unreal. It was like playing back in front of the peak, Wanderers days where we had every RBB fan there, and you couldn't get tickets. It was that loud. It was incredible, and if you could play in front of that every week, even for Australian football in the A-League, the game would be completely different.
Been number one in the country.
Even the Brisbane Roar players said, like Brisbane Roar, or was the Western
Roar
United,
was semi-final.
one of the two clubs, they actually turned to one of the boys. They go, we don't have this every week, and that was like only 8,000 at Denza Park. So imagine
what a spot.
Yeah, I know, what a spot.
Yeah.
A half developed stadium, but what a spot.
Yeah, a beautiful stadium. That's football, man. That's
that's
where
it. That's NPL.
Yeah, that's the essence. That's where people care.
Yeah,
it's not about the money. It's not about how you look or who you are, where you're from.
It's pure passion.
Yeah, like it's people there on their own time.
Yep,
through pure love for the game. Yeah, that's how I feel when I'm at Marconi. And you see all the nonnas walking in and all the nonnas, and they're all sitting there and
complaining about everything
and shit. Yeah, calling the referee all sorts of fucking Italian slurs. I always sit there and go, this is football, man. Like Marconi could be 4-0 down, they're still going, look at this guy. He should be in the Serie A. But, so you playing that game, how did it feel come full time?
Come full time, I actually don't think I was upset.
Yeah.
We conceded 2 penalties. Whether they were penalties or not, that's a different question.
Still in the area to concede it.
Yeah.
Still making those challenges.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's how Maldini always said football.
Yeah.
It's like,
if you made a tackle, you made a mistake.
Yeah, that type of shit. Yeah. It's a
so,
good way to look at it.
Yeah. But like we could finish that game with our heads held high.
Yeah.
Everyone was proud. Everyone, we threw everything at it. We couldn't have done anything more. We went 2 months after our season finished.
Yeah.
A lot of boys don't get paid for that time either. So we're training 3 times a week, doing friendly games, doing midweek games just to keep ourselves fit. Like, we're all doing it because we care as a team, as one another, and for the club. We're doing it for the club. We're doing it for the fans.
Yeah.
And there was almost a sigh of relief at the end of it, because we finished. We've given it all. We haven't left anything else on the pitch. And I mean, I couldn't personally be more prouder than our group and for myself. Playing out of position, I was happy with what I did.
Yeah. Good. For people watching, centre midfielder by trade, number 6 or number 8?
Yeah, 6, 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Playing at the number 2? Yeah. And centre back?
Yeah. 3 or 4, I think it is, they call it.
Yeah.
And 2 and the 5.
Oh, yeah, 2 and the 5, yeah.
Yeah, but funny, the rest of the cup run before that, up to the Brisbane Roar game, I was playing as a number 10.
Yeah, wow.
So that full circle, 10 bypass the 6, 8 straight to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So
I thought you had a good game, to be honest.
No,
kissing your ass. I'd happily tell you if I thought you were shit. But I was watching you with a keen eye, and I was like, yeah, fuck, you had a decent, because they actually, Azani and whatnot, they know how to get around the fullback.
Yeah.
So I thought you and the midfielders in front of you, what I was noticing, they were coming wide and then they were coming in, and when they came in, it was quick.
They come in quick.
Yeah, Azani and Toure are rapid.
Very
and
quick.
Even was it Lockie Rose or Lockie Wales up front?
Lockie Rose is extremely quick as well.
Yeah, the one that looks like Haaland.
Oh, don't give him that much respect. Come on.
Yeah, no, but he's got the long from
locks.
A distance. He's got the long. Yeah,
he's got the long hair.
Yeah. Watching him, he was quick too, and I thought you Haaland. I thought you dealt with it really well.
Yeah,
and it was a good game to watch. I thought there was more to be taken of it. I thought that there was a header at one point where
Paddy.
I thought if it went to the other post, because I thought when the ball came in, you're like at that moment I was like thinking, fuck, he's put this far post and it's gone in.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened, off balance, whatever, but that was exciting. I will say Glenn Trefiro came on, back to my point earlier. All of a sudden you guys went from having the ball at halfway to having it in your final third.
Yep. Yeah.
And even Vuj, who I was with, he's not a footballer, but never played, and he was watching, he was like, this guy's just fucking moved the whole pitch.
Yeah.
Just effortlessly.
Yeah.
And it was unlucky, but I thought the same as well. Like when we're walking home, we get the train home, we're like, fuck, the boys had a crack.
Yeah.
In what fucking world are they meant to
That's exactly right.
Be there.
Yeah.
At first of all, and then to go from there would have been next level. But so we gotta wrap it up because we started 52 minutes at overtime, and we'll get you back on. We'll most probably bring Golek on as well.
Yeah.
If we can get him out of the real estate world for an hour.
I think nights is free. He'll just have to pop out and answer his phone or something.
Yeah. Who other footballers can we get on?
I'd say Tommy, but Tommy's in Melbourne. Because they were
he's at Victory, eh?
Yeah, they were
Tommy.
They were the 3. That was like the group that I had at Wanderers. Was Tommy and Golek. Well,
Get one of the Sydney Croatia boys on.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in Tell Me on.
You want to tell me?
Yeah, I'll get in
I'll
Tell
get
Me.
in Tell Me.
We'll get in Patrick and Tell Me on. Because I've grown up just going like, this guy's fucking should be in the A-League.
He's got a good history as well. Good story.
Yeah,
Good
fuck
story.
yeah. We'll get him on. And we'll test all your footballing knowledge and all that shit.
No.
Quickly,
Yeah.
for the trials, tribulations, ups and downs your career's had. Are you 28 now?
28, yeah.
Crazy. What's your one this is niche, but piece of advice to a young athlete?
I guess don't be afraid to do what others aren't doing.
Beautifully said.
And I'm not sure if there's context behind it, or like it would apply for everyone in a different way. But everyone is different. Be your own you, and develop what your strengths are.
Yeah.
If someone else is better in their game at something, let them be. You can still focus on that, but guaranteed there's going to be something that you're better than them at.
Yeah.
So,
fucking
you know, utilize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just find a spot.
Yep.
Have at it. Beautiful. All right, so where can people find you on socials? Yianni Perkatis on Instagram?
Yianni Perkatis on Instagram. Yianni Perkatis on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I've got Twitter, but I think I've got my handle as like Milanello10 because that's my username across like everything.
Yeah.
PSN, any games that I play.
Because it was on Instagram back in the day, eh?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then I changed it to my name, hoping to get the blue tick, but the fuckers never gave it.
Is that your name? Milanello?
No,
What's that?
Milanello is the AC Milan mascot. So
that's disgusting.
It's like my under 10s, like from 10 years old, I think. That's why I just started using it. And
Forza Milan, eh?
That's it.
Nah, Forza Viola. We'll see you next week. We'll be with Paul Fleming. Thanks for hopping on, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.